Hi guys, welcome back to part 2 of reading Where the Sidewalk Ends. We're going to just pick right up where we left off, and as always, thank you for being here with me tonight. Enter this deserted house, but please walk softly as you do. Frogs dwell here, and crickets too. Ain't no ceiling, only blue. Jays dwell here, and sunbeams too. Floors are flowers, take a few. Ferns grow here, and daisies too. Whoosh, swoosh, too wit, too woo. Bats dwell here, and hoot owls too. Ha ha, hee hee, hoo hoo. Gnomes dwell here, and goblins too. And my child, I thought you knew. I dwell here, and so do you. Sick. I cannot go to school today, said little Peggy Ann McKay. I have the measles and the mumps, a gash, a rash, and purple bumps. My mouth is wet, my throat is dry. I'm going blind in my right eye. My tonsils are as big as rocks. I've counted 16 chicken pox. And there's one more, that's 17. And don't you think my face looks green? My leg is cut, my eyes are blue. It might be instamatic flu. I cough and sneeze and gasp and choke. I'm sure that my left leg is broke. My hips hurt when I move my chin. My belly button's caving in. My back is wrenched, my ankle's sprained. My appendix pains each time it rains. My nose is cold, my toes are numb. I have a sliver in my thumb. My neck is stiff, my voice is weak. I hardly whisper when I speak. My tongue is filling up my mouth. I think my hair is falling out. My elbow's bent, my spine ain't straight. My temperature is 108. My brain is shrunk, I cannot hear. There is a hole inside my ear. I have a hangnail, and my heart is, what? What's that? What's that you say? You say today is Saturday? Goodbye, I'm going out to play. Upstairs. There's a family of wrens who live upstairs. Upstairs, upstairs, upstairs. Inside my hat, I'll cozy in. My hair, my hair, my hair. I've moved a dozen times and still. They're there, they're there, they're there. I'd like to get away from them, but where? But where? But where? This hat just isn't big enough to share, to share, to share. But now I see you're bored and you don't care, don't care, don't care about the wrens who live inside my hair, my hair, my hair. The garden. Old man Simon planted a diamond, grew himself a garden the likes of none. Sprouts are all growin', comin' up glowin', fruit of jewels all shinin' in the sun. Colors of the rainbow, see the sun and rain grow, sapphires and rubies on ivory vines. Grapes of jade just ripenin' in the shade, just ready for the squeezin' into green jade wine. Pure gold corn there, blowin' in the warm air. Old crow nibblin' on the amethyst seeds. In between the diamonds, old man Simon crawls about, pullin' on platinum weeds. Pink pearl berries, all you can carry. Put 'em in a bushel and haul 'em into town. Up in the tree, there's opal nuts and gold pears. Hurry quick, grab a stick, and shake some down. Take a silver tater, emerald tomato, fresh plump coral melons. Hanging in reach, old man Simon, digging in his diamonds, stops and rests and dreams about one real beach. Jumping rope. This started out as a jumping rope. You'll probably think I'm a dope, but this started out as a jumping rope, and now I fear there is no hope. But this started out as a jumping rope. Who can kick a football from here out to Afghanistan? I can. Who fought tigers in the street with all the policemen ran and hid? I did. Who will fly and have x-ray eyes and be known as the man no bullet can kill? I will. Who can sit and tell lies all night? I might. Ridiculous Rose. Her mama said, "Don't eat with your fingers." "Okay," said Ridiculous Rose. So she ate with her toes. This next one's another one of my favorites. Where the Sidewalk Ends. There is a place where the sidewalk ends, and before the street begins. And there the grass grows soft and white, and there the sun burns crimson bright, and there the moonbird rests from his flight to cool in the peppermint wind. Let us leave this place where the smoke blows black, and the dark street winds, and the dark street winds and bends, past the pits where the asphalt flowers grow. We shall walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and watch where the chalk white arrows go to the place where the sidewalk ends. Yes, we'll walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and we'll go where the chalk white arrows go. For the children they mark, and the children they know the place where the sidewalk ends. Snowman. 'Twas the first day of the springtime, and the snowman stood alone, as the winter snows were melting, and the pine tree seemed to groan. "Ah, you poor, sad, smiling snowman, you'll be melting by and by," said the snowman. "What a pity, for I'd like to see July. Yes, I'd like to see July, and please don't ask me why. But I'd like to, yes, I'd like to. Oh, I'd like to see July." Chirped a robin just arriving. Seasons come and seasons go, and the greatest ice must crumble when its flowers time to grow. And as one thing is beginning, so another thing must die. And there's never been a snowman who has ever seen July. No, they never see July, no matter how they try. No, they never, ever, never, ever, never see July. But the snowman sniffed his carrot nose and said, "At least I'll try." And he bravely smiled his frosty smile and blinked his coal-black eye. And there he stood and faced the sun, a-blazin' from the sky. And I really cannot tell you if he ever saw July. Did he ever see July? You can guess as well as I. If he ever, if he never, if he ever saw July. The Crocodile's Toothache. The crocodile went to the dentist and sat down in the chair. And the dentist said, "Now tell me, sir, why does it hurt and where?" And the crocodile said, "I'll tell you the truth. I have a terrible ache in my tooth." And he opened his jaws so wide, that the dentist, he climbed right inside. And the dentist laughed, "Oh, isn't this fun?" And he pulled the teeth out one by one. And the crocodile cried, "You're hurting me so. Please put down your pliers and let me go." But the dentist just laughed with a ho, ho, ho. And he said, "I still have 12 to go." Oops, that's the wrong one, I confess. But what's one crocodile's tooth, more or less? Then suddenly the jaws went snap. And the dentist was gone, right off the map. And where he went, one could only guess, to north or south or east or west. He left no forwarding address. But what's one dentist, more or less? Thumbs. Oh, the thumbsucker's thumb may look wrinkled and wet, and withered and white as the snow. But the taste of a thumb is the sweetest taste yet, as only we thumbsuckers know. Just gonna take a sip of my water. Wild boar. If you tell me the wild boar has 20 teeth, I'd say, "Why, sure." Or say that he has 33, that number's quite all right with me. Or scream that he has 99, I never say that you are lying. For the number of teeth in a wild boar's mouth is a subject I'm glad I know nothing about. Lester. Lester was given a magic wish by the goblin who lives in the banyan tree. And with this wish, he wished for more wishes. So now, instead of just one wish, he cleverly had 3. And with each one of these, he simply wished for 3 more wishes, which gave him 3 old wishes, plus 9 new. And with each of these 12, he slyly wished for 3 more wishes, which added up to 46, or is it 52? Well, anyway, he used each wish to wish for wishes till he had 5,007,018,034. And then he spread them on the ground and clapped his hands and danced around and skipped and sang and then sat down and wished for more, and more and more they multiplied, while other people smiled and cried and loved and reached and touched and felt. Lester sat amid his wealth, stacked mountain high like stacks of gold, sat and counted and grew old. Then one Thursday night they found him, dead, with his wishes piled around him. And they counted the lot and found that not a single one was missing. All shiny and new, here, take a few, and think of Lester as you do. In a world of apples and kisses and shoes, he wasted his wishes on wishing. Sarah Cynthia Sylvia Stout would not take the garbage out. Sarah Cynthia Sylvia Stout would not take the garbage out. She'd scour the pots and scrape the pans, candy the yams and spice the hams, and though her daddy would scream and shout, she simply would not take the garbage out. And so it piled up to the ceilings, coffee grounds, potato peelings, brown bananas, rotten peas, chunks of sour cottage cheese. It filled the can, it covered the floor, it cracked the window and blocked the door. With bacon rinds and chicken bones, drippy ends of ice cream cones, prune pits, peach pits, orange peel, gloppy clumps of cold oatmeal, pizza crusts and withered greens, soggy beans and tangerines, crusts of black burned buttered toast, grisly bits of beefy roast. The garbage rolled on down the hall. It raised the roof, it broke the wall. Greasy napkins, cookie crumbs, globs of gooey bubble gum, cellophane from green bologna, rubbery, blubbery macaroni. Peanut butter caked and dry, curdled milk and crusts of pie, moldy melons, dried up mustard, eggshells mixed with lemon custard, cold French fries and rancid meat, yellow lumps of cream of wheat. At last the garbage reached so high that it finally touched the sky. And all the neighbors moved away, and none of her friends would come to play. And finally Sarah Cynthia Stout said, "Okay, I'll take the garbage out." But then, of course, it was too late. The garbage reached across the state, from New York to the Golden Gate, and there in the garbage she did hate. Poor Sarah met an awful fate that I cannot right now relate, because the hour is much too late. But children, remember Sarah Stout, and always take the garbage out. Drats. Can anyone lend me 2 80-pound rats? I want to rid my house of cats. Hat. Teddy said it was a hat, so I put it on. Now Dad is saying, "Where the heck's the toilet plunger gone?" My rules. If you want to marry me, here's what you'll have to do. You must learn how to make perfect chicken dumpling stew, and you must sew my holy socks and soothe my troubled mind and develop the knack for scratching my back and keep my shoes spotlessly shined. And while I rest, you must rake up the leaves, and when it is hailing and snowing, you must shovel the walk, and be still when I talk, and, "Hey, where are you going?" Oh, have you heard? Oh, have you heard? It's time for vaccinations. I think someone put salt in your tea. They're giving us 11-month vacations, and Florida has sunk into the sea. Oh, have you heard the president has measles? The principal has just burned down the school. Your hair is full of ants and purple weasels. April Fool. Warning. Inside everybody's nose, there lives a sharp-toothed snail. So if you stick your finger in, he might bite off your nail. Stick it farther up inside, and he may bite your ring off. Stick it all the way, and he may bite the whole darn thing off. unicorn. A long time ago, when the earth was green, and there was more kinds of animals than you've ever seen, and they run around free while the world was being born, and the loveliest of all was the unicorn. There was green alligators and long-necked geese. There was humpy-bumpy camels and chimpanzees. There was cats and rats and elephants, but sure as you're born, the loveliest of all was the unicorn. But the Lord seen some the Lord seen some sinning, and it caused him pain. He says, "Stand back, I'm going to make it rain." He says, "Hey, brother Noah, I'll tell you what you do. Go and build me a floating zoo. And you take 2 alligators and a couple of geese. Take 2 cats and rats and elephants, but sure as you're born, Noah, don't you forget my unicorn." Now Noah was there, and he answered the calling, and he finished up the ark just as the rain started falling. He marched in the animals 2 by 2, and he called out as they went through, "Hey Lord, I've got your 2 alligators and your couple of geese, your humpy-bumpy camels, and your 2 chimpanzees. Got your cats and rats and elephants, but Lord, I'm so forlorn, 'cause I just don't see no unicorn." Old Noah looked out through the driving rain, but the unicorns were hiding, playing silly games. They were kicking and splashing in the misty morn. Oh, them silly unicorn. Then the goat started goatin', and the snake started snaking. The elephant started elephanting, and the boat started shaking. The mouse started squeaking, and the lion started roaring. And everyone's aboard but the unicorn. I mean the green alligators and the long-necked geese, the humpy-bumpy camels, and the chimpanzees. Noah cried, "Close the door, 'cause the rain is pouring. And we just can't wait for them unicorn." Then the ark started moving, and it drifted with the tide. And the unicorns looked up from the rock and cried. And the water come up and sort of floated them away. That's why you've never seen a unicorn to this day. You'll see a lot of alligators and a whole mess of geese. You'll see humpy-bumpy camels and lots of chimpanzees. You'll see cats and rats and elephants, but sure as you're born, you're never gonna see no unicorn. Pause for a sip of more water. Treehouse. A treehouse, a free house, a secret you and me house, a high up in the leafy branches, cozy as can be house. A street house, a neat house, be sure and wipe your feet house, is not my kind of house at all. Let's go live in a treehouse. The flying festoon. Oh, I'm going to ride on the flying festoon. I'll jump on his back and I'll whistle a tune. And we'll fly to the outermost tip of the moon, the flying festoon and I. I'm taking a sandwich and a ball and prune. And we're leaving this evening precisely at noon. For I'm going to fly with the flying festoon just as soon as he learns to fly. No difference. This is another one of my favorites. I have a lot of favorites. Small as a peanut, big as a giant, we're all the same size when we turn off the light. Rich as a sultan, poor as a mite. We're all worth the same when we turn off the light. Red, black, or orange, yellow or white, we all look the same when we turn off the light. So maybe the way to make everything right is for God to just reach out and turn off the light. Still a very relevant poem to this day. Invisible Boy. And here we see the invisible boy in his lovely invisible house, feeding a piece of invisible cheese to a little invisible mouse. Oh, what a beautiful picture to see. Will you draw an invisible picture for me? Tight hat. I tried to tip my hat to Mrs. McGaffrey. I never should have put it on so tight, because it wouldn't come off my head, and my neck got stretched instead. That's what you get for trying to be polite. Peanut butter sandwich. I'll sing you a poem of a silly young king who played with the world at the end of a string, but he only loved one single thing, and that was just a peanut butter sandwich. His scepter and his royal gowns, his regal throne and golden crowns, were brown and sticky from the mounds, and drippings from each peanut butter sandwich. His subjects were silly fools, for he had passed a royal rule that all that they could learn in school was how to make a peanut butter sandwich. He would not eat his sovereign steak. He scorned his soup and kingly cake, and told his courtly cook to bake an extra sticky peanut butter sandwich. And then one day he took a bite and started chewing with delight, but found his mouth was stuck quite tight from that last bite of peanut butter sandwich. His brother pulled, his sister pried, the wizard pushed, his mother cried. My boys committed suicide from eating his last peanut butter sandwich. The dentist came and the royal doc, the royal plumber banged and knocked, but still those jaws stayed tightly locked. Oh darn that sticky peanut butter sandwich. The carpenter, he tried with pliers. The telephone man tried with wires. The firemen, they tried with fire, but couldn't melt that peanut butter sandwich. With ropes and pulleys, drills and coil, with steam and lubricating oil, for 20 years of tears and toil, they fought that awful peanut butter sandwich. Then all his royal subjects came, and they hooked his jaws with grappling chains, and pulled both ways with might and main against that stubborn peanut butter sandwich. Each men and women, girl and boy, put down their plows and pots and toys, and pulled until, crack, oh joy, they broke right through that peanut butter sandwich. A puff of dust, a screech, a squeak, the king's jaw opened with a creak, and then in voice so faint and weak, the first words that they heard him speak were, "How about a peanut butter sandwich?" Lazy Jane. Lazy, 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 lazy Jane. She wants a drink of water, so she waits and waits and waits and waits and waits for it to rain. The Edge of the World. Columbus said the world is round. Don't you believe a word of that? For I've been down to the edge of the world, sat on the edge where the wild wind whirled, peeked over the edge where the blue smoke curls, and I can tell you, boys and girls, the world is flat. Santa and the Reindeer. This is the hour, said Santa Claus. The bells ring merrily, then on his back he slung his pack, and into his sleigh climbed he. O Dancer, O Prancer, Prancer, O Donner and Blitzen, O Comet and Cupid, cried he. And all the reindeer leaped but one, and that one stood silently. He had pulled the sleigh for 1,000 years, and never spoke a word, he. Now he stood in the snow, and he whispered low, "Oh, what do you have for me?" "I have games and toys for girls and boys," said Santa cheerily. The reindeer stood as if made of wood. "But what do you have for me?" "The socks are hung, the bells are rung," cried Santa desperately. The reindeer winked at a falling star. "But what do you have for me?" Then Santa reached into his beard, and he found a tiny flea, and he put it into the reindeer's ear, and the reindeer said, "For me? Oh, gee." And into the blue away they flew. Away they flew with the flea. And the moral of this Yuletide tale you know as well as me. The Toucan. Tell me, who can catch a toucan? Lou can. Just how few can ride the toucan? Toucan. What kind of goo can stick you to the toucan? Glue can. Who can write some more about the toucan? You can. The planet of Mars. On the planet of Mars, they have clothes just like ours, and they have the same shoes and same laces, and they have the same charms and same graces, and they have the same heads and same faces, but not in the very same places. Love. Ricky was L, but he's home with the flu. Lizzie, R.O., had some homework to do. Mitchell, E., probably got lost on the way, so I'm all of love that could make it today. Just zoom you guys out a little bit so you can see this picture. If I can. It's just one girl holding up a V. This will be the last poem for the evening. But don't worry, we are going to finish the rest of this book in the next video. The dirtiest man in the world. Oh, I'm Dirty Dan, the world's dirtiest man. I have never taken a shower. I can't see my shirt, it's so covered with dirt, and my ears have enough to grow flowers. But the water is either a little too hot, or else it's a little too cold. I'm musty and dusty and patchy and scratchy and mangy and covered with mold. But the water is always a little too hot, or else it's a little too cold. I live in a pen with 5 dogs and a hen, and 3 squizzly lizards who creep in my bed, and they itch as I squirm and I twitch in the cruddy old sheets that I sleep in. If you looked down my throat with a flashlight, you'd note that my insides are coated with rust. I creak when I walk, and I squeak when I talk, and each time I sneeze, I blow dust. The thought of a towel and some soap makes me howl, and when people have something to tell me, they don't come and tell it, they stand back and yell it. I think they're afraid they might smell me. The bedbugs that leap on me sing to my... I'm sorry, try that again. The bedbugs that leap on me sing me to sleep, and the garbage flies buzz me awake. They're the best friends I found, and I fear they might drown, so I never go too near a lake. Each evening at 9, I sit down to dine with the termites who live in my chair, and I joke with the bats and have intimate chats with the cooties who crawl through my hair. I'd brighten my life if I just found a wife, but I fear that never will be, until I can find a girl gentle and kind, with a beautiful face and a sensitive mind, who sparkles and twinkles and glistens and shines, and who's almost as dirty as me. Alright guys, so we are going to end this video tonight, but we will pick right up another day with point of view. So I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and I hope that it was relaxing for you, and I will see you next time.